Hi, my name's Jerry, and I'm going to show you today how to do sand casting of, I'm going to sand cast this little rattlesnake tail. You guys can see that. Hopefully some focus. And we're going to cast it in silver, and it's going to end up like this right here. And you can see a lot of the detail on the two of them. It's pretty darn close. They, Anyway, I found this on the side of the road on a rattlesnake got run over by a car, so I clipped it off. If you get too big a rattlesnake tail like this, I mean, this sucker will take way too much silver to be worth doing. So anyway, if you're going to do it, you got to select the right size piece. Okay, here we go. We're going to be using this device right here. This is a mold called the mold, and this is called the cope. The two of them fit together. They have pins that line everything up. Now, if you go on YouTube, you can see a dozen videos from creative people who've made their own mold and copes. I bought these years and years ago, and they cost me about 18 bucks. They weren't very expensive. My idea of this whole class, by the way, is to keep it inexpensive. Okay. I don't know if you can read that. Let's see. It says casting sand. Okay, what's this one? Made by ProCraft. Okay, I've been doing this for 30 years, and this is the second can of this I've ever had to buy. I bought it from Thunderbird Supply, which is a jewelry supply place in Gallup and in Flagstaff, and I paid $15.96 for it, and I bought this last year. So this is not an expensive process. I did see it online as much as $40 and $50 for exactly the same product. So you have to really be careful. Like I said, I like Thunderbird. They've been really good to me. And when you live in the middle of nowhere, it's nice to have somebody who has full service. Okay, so first thing we do is we have to make the mold. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the camera right now so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I moved the camera now so you can see my workspace. I spread a piece of wax paper just to make it easier to clean up, because this stuff does get a little messy. Alright, so what we have here is the mold side. The mold side doesn't have the nails sticking out, the pins sticking out. So you want to start with this side, and you want to put it face down, the side closest to the pins. Alright, put it like this. Oh, that's good. Okay. Then what you want to do is put your sand in there. You can see this sand kind of clumps together. The big thing is the consistency of this sand. It's super fine. Now you want to fill this thing in completely. You don't want to leave any gaps. I got this little scooper here. All right, now you want to pack it down. I'm going to use the heel of my hand. Okay, I'm going to get it flat. Push it all down in there. And then you want to take a flat edge. I usually use a knife. I got this big old knife over here. And I will take this and just scrape it across the back here. So now I have this mold. I also do the front end. Here, hold on, let me clean this mess up here. Okay, now I like to take the knife, my straight edge, and go across this side to also. So you can see I got a nice flat edge there. Alright, so there we go. That's full. Now, what I got here is a sock I filled with baby powder. Just an old sock, but it's got to be a closed knit sock. This is an old Argyle. But anyway, fill it with just the cheapest talcum powder. They sell stuff called parting powder that's supposed to make it easier to separate and all this other stuff. But I've used this forever and I've never had a problem. So anyway, you just put a layer of on there. You see how nice and even it goes on there. It doesn't Doesn't change anything. Now, find the thing I'm going to cast. This is what I'm going to cast. Now, I'm thinking probably be easiest to have the wax, the silver come in from this side. So what I'm going to do is on here, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to make a little funnel. Just like that. See how nice that is? And then I'm going to take my little rattlesnake tail and I'm going to set it up right there at that funnel. If I want it straight, I'm going to make sure it's straight. If I want a little curved, I'm going to make it curved. I kind of like them curved. It seems like people like them better curved. So, okay. Now what I'm going to do is figure out exactly how I want it. And then I push it. Oops. And then I push it halfway into the sand. Now you got to be careful because some things are way softer than others, and in doing this you can actually damage your specimen. But you can do this with a shell, a small shell. You can do this with pretty much anything that you can go. If you looked at my last video, you see what I did is I just went to the dollar store and bought some little beads that had peace signs on them, and I cast those. Okay, I got to push down in there. You just want to make sure there's no overhangs, you know, so when you put the top half on, okay, that there's nothing to hang the sand up on. Okay, now you place the, here, you know what I like to do is I like to also put just a little bit of powder on there. There you go. There you go. And put this on there. Get closer. Okay, you can see now that it's sitting in there. Okay, now what I'm going to do, first I'm going to start with some dirt right over top of my piece there. Okay, and then I'm going to fill it up with dirt, casting sand. What they do is they take this really fine sand and they add oil to it, probably mineral oil, and you get it to this point where it holds together like a dirt clod, and that's what you want. Any more than that, if you feel any moisture at all, it's no good, because when you pour the hot silver in there, it'll turn that moisture into steam, and then you're just and then the steam will form bubbles and keep it from casting properly. Okay, and get my knife. Now I just do this for the heck of it. It's not really important, but here we go. Okay, clean all the dirt off. Clean up my mess again. Okay, if I've done this right, there will be a nice mold. So we separate it just straight up, and voila. And you can see on this side, I've got a near perfect mold. On that side, I got the little critter. Now what I like to do, sometimes it's easier just to leave the item in here, is to take a tool, and it could be pretty much anything, and I want to make my, where the silver is going to come in, I want to make it bigger. There you go. So I'm going to make sure that the silver reaches the top of my item. Then also, you need a place for the gases to go when it goes in there. The easiest thing for this is just to add a line here at the end. So I put my finger on there to keep it from moving, and beep. No big deal. And we shake it, and out comes the piece. And I make sure we have man, let me get this over here. Okay. And make sure that the top of the mold is open so the silver comes in. Okay, looks like we're ready to do some casting now. Oh wait, on this side, bing bing, better remember this. On this side, And I still got that little lump sticking up from where I made the funnel on this side. So what I do is I'm just going to take my finger and make a nice, not quite to the rattlesnake tail, but pretty darn close. There we go. Okay. Now, take the two parts. They look pretty darn good. I think we'll do okay. Okay, and I'm going to put them together. Try not to rub them as I put them together. Bing! Now I got me a little clip on this side and a clip on this side just to hold them together for me. And I am done there.